and all the way out. Just letting the past go. Let's come into this space together, open to whatever wants to come through. Okay. Well, first of all, Surya, thank you for joining me today.
It's a pleasure to talk to you, Gary.
For sure. So, yeah, getting this thing started, would you be able to give us a little bit about who you are and what you do exactly?
Yeah, sure. I'm currently in Belgium. That's where I was born, where I was raised, and I'm living here. It was not always the case. I had a pretty nomadic life for around 10 years, spent prolonged times in India and Nepal especially, studying with several teachers, especially my guru, basically studying with shamans and yogis. And so ever since I kind of graduated, you can never fully graduate there, I guess, but from the moment I reached a kind of understanding about the self and the nature of reality, I started to make the bridge between the Eastern world and the Western world. And for me, the main medium to make that bridge is sound. So I've been working with sound for around 15 years now. As I recognized sound as one of the central tools in so many spiritual paths, and it's moved me a lot. And as I recognized it as an essential tool on the spiritual path, and a very accessible tool. So over the years, I started bringing trainings in sound healing and sound meditation. And since 7 years, I have a center as well in Belgium here, a retreat center, which is basically an old monastery. And we are continuing the prayers from the past in a different way, in a new way. So I'm aiming to make a bridge between East and West, but also between the old ways and the new ways, and bringing spirit into the modern day life, or at least trying to keep it alive as possible in modern day life here in Belgium and beyond.
Amazing. And that is nada, right? That's what you refer to as the... What does nada mean, actually? Can you clarify that?
Sure. Nada is often translated as sound, but in fact, it's a much broader phenomenon and a much broader, well, the word refers to vibration, and vibration is often confused to be sound, but really it's something much, much more than sound. Sound is the acoustic sound, is basically the waves between, or the acoustic waves between 20 hertz and 20,000 hertz that we can perceive as human beings with our physical ears. But nada is way, way beyond. We can perceive also subtle sounds, and in the practices of nada yoga, that is one of the main goals, or the main tools, is focusing on the subtle sounds. And it's not acoustic sounds, it sounds beyond the reach of the physical ears. And that is a practice to actually meditate on the subtle sounds. But nada is basically vibration, and essentially everything is vibration. So we could say everything is nada. Nada is the basic structure, the basic patterns of the universe are vibratory patterns, and it's all nada. You are made up of a very complex web of vibrations, we could say, and so is a tree, and so is a mountain, and so is really everything, even thoughts and emotions, all is made up of nada. And so if we practice Nada Yoga, we are basically training our capacity to listen deeply, and to perceive the universe or reality, including ourselves, as vibratory fields.
That's very interesting. That's really cool. So, all right, man, this is good. So essentially what you're saying is there is levels of vibration. Obviously, we know that. But there's levels that are outside of our comprehension, outside of what we can hear. And Nada Yoga enables us to hear these vibrations that we thought were once outside of our spectrum of experience. And then what does that enable? So once we are able to hear the subtle sounds outside of the spectrum, what does the Nada Yoga enable us to do? Like, do we get downloads from these other vibratory scales? Like, what's the, I guess, incentive or benefits to practicing Nada Yoga?
Right, yeah. Well, it can spontaneously move into many directions, because when we become more sensitive and our listening capacity opens up more and more, we might suddenly become aware of things that we couldn't imagine before. But in Nada Yoga, there is also a clear direction. We could go and play with the different dimensions, so to say, but that is not really the goal of Nada Yoga. The goal of Nada Yoga is actually to become aware of only one vibration, which is the Anahata Nada. Anahata is the unstruck sound. People know it commonly as Om. Om is the same thing as Anahata Nada, is the sound basically of God, is the sound of all, is the one sound, is the essential vibration. And the goal of Nada Yoga is very clearly to focus on the one, to focus on Om. But Om is another way. When we speak about Om, we think of chanting, right? But when we speak of the word Anahata Nada, we think of listening. But we're talking about the same phenomenon, the essential vibration of reality. So that's the highest goal. You can't reach further. And from there, many experiences can unfold. If you come in touch with God in a sonic way or in any other way, yeah, miracles happen, right?
Yeah. So what does it involve? What do the practices actually look like?
It starts with simply listening to the sounds as they are. That's a starting point, and it might seem very random or too simple to be true, but that's where it starts. If you're finding yourself right now in front of the laptop or the phone or whatever, then it starts with becoming aware of maybe the sound your laptop is making. My laptop is making little sounds right now. So this is the entrance door. Yeah, if you find yourself in a forest and there is birds singing, that's where it starts. You simply pay full attention to the sounds as they are. But
I see.
a core difference here with usual listening or hearing is that we aim to listen beyond the mind, and we aim to listen to the sounds and vibrations as they really are. So without the label, the mental label that we so easily put on the sounds. Like, very easily I could put now the sound, oh, laptop sound. Or in the forest you say bird, or this kind of bird, or that bird, airplane, But trying to listen before the sound, or through the label. So before the label or through the label. And so you come in touch with reality with truth. And it's a very simple and grounding practice as well, because it starts with the grounded sounds that are here, right? The embodied sounds. It's maybe the sound of your breath also. And if you become more and more silent, then it internalizes, and awareness falls on the breathing, on the beating of the heart. Awareness goes even deeper, and if it becomes really still, awareness goes to the rushing of the blood in the vessels. And if you become more and more still, and your environment allows it as well, there needs to be a certain degree of silence around as well. If it becomes really still inside as well, you might become aware of anahata nada, or another nada. If you're in front of a tree, for example, you might become aware of the nada of the tree. And you might listen to a tree and perceive a tree as you never did before.
I see. So essentially, it's using sound as a gateway into the ultimate Om, into the origin.
Right.
Yeah. It's like an anchor in some way. It anchors us into that ultimate awareness.
Yeah, it's a beautiful way to say it. It's an anchor indeed. Yeah, it's an anchor because it's anchoring us in the very physical world. Sound is an acoustic phenomenon, is a physical phenomenon, and in the same way, there is a rope that goes all the way up to the heavens. So yeah, you can see the anchor either way. It anchors us, the spirit in matter, or it anchors the opposite way. It anchors matter in spirit.
Yeah, I see. It's the bridge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and sound is so visceral. There's something so transformative about sound that is unlike any other sense, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sound is also in the teachings of yoga and Ayurveda and Tantra. Sound is recognized as, or the hearing capacity is recognized as the highest of the senses.
I believe it.
So we have smelling, we have tasting, we have vision or sight. There is touch, and then the fifth one is the sense of hearing and listening. And it really goes from down all the way up, and it's connected also to chakras and levels of being, and sound is connected up here. And we can actually feel that also, that if we work a lot with sound is uplifting. It's like literally uplifting. It can uplift objects if directed in a right way. In scientific experiments,
Oh
this has
yeah.
been being done. Sound is levitating, like literally, and this is the
Yep.
effect on the human being too. If you produce sound and you're exposed continuously to sound, something is lifting.
Yeah. Have you seen those videos? I'm guessing you have. Sound
Yeah,
levitation videos? Yeah.
yeah,
I'll put it on screen for people to see. That blew my mind. The first time I ever saw that, I'm like, whoa, hold on a second. Wait. You can levitate object with sound?
yeah,
And it's not magic. This is real. This is on video.
yeah. It's
That's wild.
science.
It's science. Yeah, it's not, you're right. It's not woo woo. It's real.
Yeah, yeah.
And have you ever heard of them building the pyramids with sound?
There's a lot of theories. Honestly, so far,
It's pretty out there.
yeah, there didn't come any theory that really convinced me in that area of thought.
I agree with you. I'm like, wait, what? But once I saw that video of the sound levitation, it got me thinking, well, maybe
Yeah,
if it's
who knows?
possible on a small scale,
Yeah, yeah,
what if
yeah.
you were just to scale it up? You know, maybe you are able to build pyramids with sound. Just throwing it out there. I don't know. I'm not a
Yeah,
scientist.
I mean, if there's technology available, things like this could be possible. I'm not an archaeologist. I have no clue about these things, and I know that the theories I've seen passing by weren't convincing at all. So, but it's nice speculation.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
It really is a mystery. The technologies that we have innately that are tied to things of sound and just vibration altogether, I feel like we lost along the way somehow. It's a
Hmm.
mystery, and I
Yeah.
revere the mystery. I'm open to it, you know?
Hmm.
But the thing is, you can talk about the pyramids all you want and sound levitation. It's really when you bring that into yourself, the power of sound into yourself, that you become a believer, that it all makes sense. Like
Yeah.
before every podcast that I do Om chanting for at least
Mm.
10-15 minutes, just straight up
Mm.
box breathing along with Om chanting. And that
Mm.
is extremely transformative. Just for
Mm.
10-15 minutes, just doing that changes up how everything, it just changes up how I see, how I think, how I feel, just by
Right.
simply, it seems too good to be true, but just by simply going, oh, for
Mm.
10 minutes. And that makes all the difference.
Right.
So I
Yeah. Yeah.
believe it. The power
Yeah.
of sound is real.
Yeah. And I think the goals of the Nada yogis of the past and the tantrics that came up with most of these practices, and the goal was not really to manipulate the external world with sound, or even create anything externally with sound, but to transform and change from inside. And
Yeah.
that is a very real power, as you're sharing Om chanting. Also, this is something very simple. Okay. There are some things to it that you can refine to make it more effective, or some meditation or visualization techniques you could add or something. But in a way, it's really simple. It's mainly just toning, and doing that for a while, yeah, longer than 3 ohms, for
Mm.
example, and then you really start to come into to experience the effect, and it's
Mm-hmm.
very transformative for sure.
Yeah. You know what it is I find, and maybe you can expand a little bit on it, is you mentioned this in the beginning too. When you're doing chanting, you are what am I trying to say here? You are putting out the sound but also listening at the same time. So it's a simultaneousness of you listening to your voice, but also at the same time you are the one that is putting out the voice. So it's this cycle. Like I'm seeing this visualization of like it goes back into itself. So it's
Hmm.
different, right? So like say I'm listening to Om or listening to some kind of kirtan on a speaker. If I'm just listening, it's cool. It feels good. But when you join in on it and you're chanting along with it, that's when the transformation happens. Like you sync with the sound, right? It's like you
Hmm.
tune yourself like an instrument to whatever
Yeah.
the vibration is of the mantra. And
Hmm.
that's where the power lies, I feel.
Yeah. 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 You explain it in a nice way. Then there's like a circle happening, and there is this play of listening and creating sound yourself. And I also always advise students of me, if they work with sound, to have like 50% of their attention with the hearing or the listening,
Uh,
and the other 50% with the creation of sound. Um, and if these are balanced, you might easily feel that circle happening, and
that's good.
then nothing else matters. Then you're fully immersed in sound, and there's always two forces happening. This is also in the tantric and yogic traditions. So often it's embedded in the system. For example, hatha yoga,
Yeah.
there's hatha, there's sun, moon, and you find it in everywhere. In tantra, there is Shiva and Shakti. There is the force of consciousness, and there is the force of power or energy, and they're always in a play with each other. And we could say the listening part is the conscious or the consciousness part, and then the sound creation is the Shakti, is the energetic movement. And it's a practice of blending these together and finding the union of both, so that we may remember the union that always was there already, which is
Mm.
available for us if we dive into this play of polarity, which is life and sound.
Yeah, it's so primordial when you put it that way. You're getting at the essence of the universe, essentially. Like when you can, and easier said than done, but it's possible. When you can enter that 50-50 mode of sound creation and listening, you enter a different state. You're going
Mm.
to the source, man. You going to God. And it
Yeah.
sounds too good to be true, no pun intended. But it is that simple. It really
Mhm.
is.
Yeah.
I mean, let me ask you that one. Is it that simple? Is it just simply chanting, um, repeating the chants over and over again, and that's how we yoke the moment? You know, that's the yoga. It's just chanting, listening, and sound creation at the same time.
Well, yes and no. I think essentially, I believe, yes, it is that simple. But there is someone who wants to make it difficult and complicated and who doesn't want to believe that it could possibly be that simple. Mantra recitation essentially or ultimately isn't about giving a meaning to things, or, mantra isn't about the meaning of the words, even essentially.
Mm,
It is about going beyond the meaning and beyond the words, going beyond mind entirely. That's the ultimate goal of mantra, whether you sing just Om or you chant this super long, complicated Rudra, Rudra mantra or whatever mantra it is. Um, Essentially, it's about going beyond the mind, and traditionally there's a lot of emphasis on right pronunciation, because what is important here as well is the continuation, is the lineage. That is why we are, after 3,500 years or probably longer, still able to sing the mantras exactly in the way that they were sung 3,500 years ago, because they were amazing students, and there was a strong emphasis on um, exactly having the right pronunciation and intonation, um, which is mind blowing, if you think of it. 3,500 years.
yeah.
So there is this lineage thing going on as well, traditionally, which is easily overseen in the West. Um, so yeah, in a way, it's just chanting, but in another way, there is a whole tradition behind, and in this tradition there is energy, there is Shakti, there is power, and that is the power of all the masters who nurtured that uh, that practice and who nurtured that path. And thanks to all of those masters and all of those disciples, we are able to chant now and continue that path in a new way. Things change all the time, although it's happening on a super speed level right now, but things change all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to adjust, but in the same way, I think it's really valuable to recognize the sources where, that gave rise to these practices like Om chanting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you know what's very novel about times that we were incarnated in is that, so for 3,500 years, the preservation of how it was enunciated, um, it had to be kept a certain way, almost like so we could get to this time to put it on recording, to put it in audio format.
Mm.
Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Before these times, you couldn't record sound, or at least to the extent that we can do now.
Yeah.
So, thanks to the sages of the past, we have this pure mantra, um, these pure incantations, essentially, that now are preserved for who knows how long, forever, for as long
Mm-hmm.
as the internet is around.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting times in terms of sound, because now sound is it's like it's like embedded into some sort of otherworldly form, and that's what you described. It's like, it sort of evolves. It's the same thing, but the medium of it has evolved. The dharma of it has evolved, and yeah, it's quite interesting, right? We take it for
Mm.
granted, being
Yeah.
able to record sound and record music, right? We have Apple Music, we got thousands of songs on our phone, but when you sit down and think about it, it's unprecedented. The times that we're in, the fact that we can have this and just it's the same over and over again. Like that mantra doesn't change. It doesn't matter if somebody pronounces it wrong or not,
Mhm.
because it's always the same. It's in stone, some sort of way,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Interesting. It's very interesting. So yeah, it's like it's like a new beginning in some sort of way. So the songs were created thousands and thousands of years ago, sung by who knows how many people, sung by the gods, you could say.
Mhm.
And now we have that preserved in some sort of time capsule, some sort of otherworldly format. What comes to mind is like a book. It's almost like a book.
Mm.
Books were technology of the past for preservation, but now we got it in our ears. And that, I feel, is going to lead us to new heights in many different ways, right?
Yeah, right. And nobody knows it's leading, where it's leading. But it's mad what's happening. It's absolutely beyond comprehension. Like the whole thing
Yeah.
of AI.
Oh,
It's
that too.
it's a being, and what you're saying, it's all within AI, right? Like um, it's all
Yeah.
frozen into
Yeah.
virtual spaces right now, and who knows
Mm.
for how long. Yeah, it's absolutely beyond what is happening right now.
Amazing times. It's like
Yeah.
all of that led up to this, I feel. I think all of the dharma and the initiation and guru process and, like the chain link, I look at it as like a chain link, right? From a guru to a disciple. It's like many chain links through the years. Preservation of knowledge, preservation of wisdom, right? And it needed
Mhm.
to be that way so that it could keep the teachings and the vibrations pure, unmuddied,
Mhm.
right? From the ego mind. That was the formula, we could say. But
Mhm.
now it seems to be a different formula. I know having teachers is very valuable, but now the teacher is ChatGPT. you know, now the teacher, quite potentially, I'm not saying everybody is going to be learning from it, but you can learn so much. Point of my story is you can learn so much just
Mhm.
from all that is on recording, right? Just from that previous age, just from the previous formula. Now it's like anyone can become the sage, anyone can become the guru. So
Well,
yeah.
I think here it's important to make a distinguishment between intelligence, like artificial intelligence is intelligence and operates on a mental level, and consciousness, which is a whole different reality, which is a whole different aspect of reality. And I
Mm,
think AI and modern technological tools um, are incredibly helpful for mental processes. Um, Intelligence can reach heights as it never did before, and I think it's an aspect of spiritual evolution. But eventually, the spiritual path needs to lead towards liberation from the mind and
Yeah.
heightened consciousness. And this is something that I believe ChatGPT will never be able to transmit. It might lead us through a whole bunch of mental processes in a way that we find the door out. That can be, but it will never transmit darshan. Darshan is a word,
Mm.
a Sanskrit word that can be translated as energetic transmission or a transmission of blessings or something. And it happens through consciousness, and it's used to happen from guru to disciple. And I experienced it many times. Like it's a mystery. What it is, and no one understands it because you can't understand it. It happens from a conscious being towards another conscious being. It's a silent transmission in a way, or maybe a transmission of a very advanced nada or something, like a very deep nada that is transmitted. And technological tools will never be able to do that because they cannot become conscious unless you believe consciousness starts from matter, as we probably all learned in school. Like consciousness is a byproduct of chemical processes in the brain. But according to the ancient traditions of Tantra yoga and actually a whole bunch of others as well, not only from India, according to those, consciousness is the core of reality and gives rise to all phenomena, including matter and chemical processes in the brain. So it's like a whole different paradigm. So I believe AI will, and there's a debate going on this, but my take is that AI will never be able to actually produce consciousness. It will be master and even much more skillful than now in imitating conscious beings and copy pasting everything human beings are doing, but it will never actually be conscious because matter can't produce consciousness. I believe so. For that reason, I think AI can never be a true guru like a human guru can be, or the magic that happens between a human being with another human being, a conscious being with another conscious being. Sometimes it's mysterious how things are passed on, but it happens through consciousness. So yeah,
That's a good
I
point.
think it's important to differentiate these two.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's very powerful. Yeah. It's like technology and AI only goes so far, right? In that regard,
Yeah.
all of our symbols only go so far. Now, let me ask you that though. Do you feel as though a guru is needed? Like, do we need a guru? Does everybody need a guru to get that transmission, to get that
Mm.
spark of magic? Or
Well,
are there some people that are able to have the solo journey? Go ahead.
there is a lot of different perceptions on guru and ideas, and it's a very heavily loaded word and
Yeah.
phenomenon today.
I'm talking about like like a real person. Because I know we could say the gurus and everything. I get that, which I guess is the ultimate destination to see the guru and all. But I mean like a teacher to disciple, right? Is that needed?
Yeah. Well, I don't think it has to be that way. Although for the great majority of human beings, it will be really hard to actually wake up and
Mm,
or or fully wake up or like have a serious awakening without being in a direct contact with other awakened beings. And I think it's not only a matter of guru or spiritual teacher, but also just a matter of human connection and being around people who have a certain degree, let's say, of awakeness. And if you haven't got that around, like directly around, I mean, it's still possible, but it's just harder, I think, and less likely
Yeah.
it is to see through or to break through some patterns. Just another conscious human being around is just very helpful. And then, of course, the guru comes in, or the spiritual teacher, whatever you want to call it, comes in and can be a tremendous support. Things are just so much easier, basically. So essentially, for sure, you don't need a guru, because ultimately, it's classic, right? It's almost a cliche, but the guru is inside of yourself, and it's true.
Mm.
But to find that true guru inside, it's not that easy. There's just a lot of ego tricks, and eventually it can
Yeah.
become spiritual ego stories, and you might believe yourself to be like this or like that, and you might just sometimes need that awake person that says, here you are.
Mm.
And it might be a friend as well. Like if you have good friends around who are also on the path, that they can also take on that role of um, helper or supporter in your spiritual process.
Yeah, I like that. Just makes it easier.
Yeah.
And I feel that when I come on here with people, it's like, how do I put this? Like when you're in the presence, even if it's non-local, of
Yeah.
somebody who is realized, it's so affirming. It just feels good. It's
Mm-hmm.
something happens, and I feel it now. Something happens that goes beyond the words. Like just when you're simply in the presence of somebody
Mm-hmm.
and you're sharing time with somebody that has this understanding, it's extremely powerful. So for sure, I always like to emphasize find the others, find your tribe, and that will
Mm-hmm.
go a lot further than any book could, than any classical teaching could. To just simply surround yourself with the right energy, the right vibrations, right, and the
Mm-hmm.
vibrations rub off in some sort of way. And it works
Yeah.
the other way too. The bad vibrations also rub off. So it's very important to find the right people, to just be happy, essentially. To just find a little bit of happiness and bliss and peace in life. Find the right people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that. Mm. And I've heard it before, I forget where, that a guru, a true guru, is just like a good friend. Have you ever heard that before?
Yeah, like a good friend. Actually, well, recently I created a podcast about guru, right? And one of my teachers responded to that podcast, because I also threw the question, like, what is for you the guru? And one of my teachers responded exactly with this answer. For me, it's a good friend. I think it's a beautiful way of looking at guru disciple relationship. Um, yeah, and it's something I experienced with, for example, this teacher, like friendship and support. Um, yeah, it's not really the perspective of traditional, like in Indian guru disciple relationship. Because in a way it's not exactly the same, because what is really important traditionally there, and what I also experienced really deeply in India with my guru, is the amazing opportunity to develop devotion and humility, something we in the West um, highly overlook sometimes, even, I don't know, over there, but in Belgium it's almost a taboo words, like devotion and humility, something like, well, something weak.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
um,
get out of here,
and
hippie.
yeah, indeed, yeah. So, that's something that in this traditional setting of guru disciple, it's an amazing gift that is there, that you may actually bow for a being, and you don't bow for a personality. You bow for the divine light that is very present in that being that is guiding the ashram or the bunch of people, or is guiding you as a disciple there. You bow for that light that is essentially the same in him as in you. So you see that it's a slightly different than just being friends, but I think they can go hand in hand. Like they can, he or she can also be a friend. So yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful to bring in friendship in this conversation too.
Mm. Now, would you say that is the place of the guru, is to be a very pure reflection of the divine for you to find your own divinity?
Yeah, like it should be a person that cleared his 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 glasses, let's say. Everyone is looking through glasses, and that guru should be a person that did a strong work, or the strong work happened to him in whatever way, that his glasses are really pure, and he can look at you in a way that is really you. He really sees you. Otherwise, it's not a guru.
Mm.
He really recognizes you for who you are, without all the labels you put on yourself and all the ideas you have about reality, and possibly about him or her as well. So, and I think we could say that like an effective spiritual teacher can only be someone that did the work, and that has clarity and recognizes reality, recognizes you for who you truly are.
Mm.
And so that you can experience more easily yourself as that same truth, as that same flame. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if you're in front of a true guru, you will experience that easily. If not, or it's just your work that still needs to be done, or the guru is maybe not, uh, yeah, maybe didn't do his work. But you feel it if you're in the presence of someone like that. You feel it.
So essentially, if you feel the real love emanating from the guru, it's almost like you can't help but devote yourself.
Yeah, yeah, that's my experience indeed. Yeah, but you might. It's mysterious. Some people just are touched by a certain path or a certain guru, and others are not. It's so.
Yeah.
Um,
There's no one size
yeah,
fit all guru.
no, 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 not at all. No.
Yeah. That's the thing, is like it's all the same love. It's all the same thing, we could say, that we're devoting ourselves to, right? It's all God.
Yeah,
But God has different ways of showing himself, whether it's through Jesus, through Buddha, Ramakrishna, maybe Muhammad, whoever your guru was. It's all, that's part of the magic. It's all
mm,
different puzzle pieces of God. And some people it works for, some people it doesn't. But that's, like I said, that's part of the beauty here. That's part of the magic of life. Something
yeah,
special about that. Never ending novelty of how God appears, of how the love of God appears.
right. Yeah, and we could even open it up further. Like in the non-dual tantric tradition, there's a strong emphasis on um, the freedom aspect of God, and Shiva, or God, is so tremendously free, essentially, that he, and I'm saying he just because of a lack of words are always limited, right? It's he or
Mm-hmm.
she. Uh, so Shiva is so totally free that he created himself in as much possible ways as there could be, and including the shadow, including the dark places. And he created situations that feel for us human beings like um, totally out of balance or out of place, and that the freedom of God goes so far that even he creates that he wants to experience the fullness of life. He wants to manifest or to embody the fullness of life, and so that includes darkness. I always think that found it so beautiful in the tantric tradition that there is such a strong emphasis on that freedom and that um, all-encompassing loving force that is so free that the shadow is included.
The embrace.
Yeah, and so you see, the guru can be hidden everywhere, and we have the tendency to go and look for. Well, I had that tendency in the past before to go and look for the perfect being, the perfect teacher that is 100% pure, like the fully enlightened being. And you know, we're all human beings, including gurus. They have this humanity piece, and they carry shadow aspects. And maybe it's not the point of, as a devotee and as a student, maybe it's not the point to find the perfection, but to see perfection in everything. And of course, there are degrees, you know, and it's good to differentiate one thing from another as good as you can, and to find a teacher that did the work and has as clean glasses as possible. But the guru might just be a sinner on the street. You know, he might, or God might show himself through a very painful situation. God might show himself through a friend of you that makes a horrible mistake, of which you, through which you are suffering. You know, so God or the ultimate guru shows himself really in all possible situations.
Mm-hmm.
Just to broaden this perspective a little bit, no?
That's good. Yeah, that's good. But we won't see it if we're not still enough, if we're not aligned enough. The signs,
Yeah.
the many signs that God sends through his many gurus, it'll just go by us. So that's why I guess we could say it's very important to do these practices so that we can align ourselves, so we can still the mind enough to be still and know, a wise man once said.
Sure. Exactly.
You know? I mean, yeah, I think the ultimate destination is to see the guru in everything. Easier said than done for sure, but I think that's really where all roads lead, is to see quite literally, I'm not just saying this, quite literally everything is God.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I see it that way, but I do believe that is the goal per se, is to see literally every moment, everything, everyone as God.
Totally. Totally.
Right?
Yeah. If there's one goal, then this is the goal.
Yeah. If it's not that, then I don't know. Then I don't know what the goal is. Yeah. And like I said, I'm not perfect. I definitely 100% do not see like that all the time. But the more work and practice that I have done, and the more that I am able to see from that practice, see God in drag, as Ram Dass would say, the more I just feel at peace. The more, even in the unpeaceful moments, right? Even in the dark moments, the shitty moments, there is still a sense of peace, knowing that somehow, some way, that is God.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I resist that, the more I suffer, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, beautiful indeed. As you say, you might feel at peace in an unpeaceful situation, or even something inside of you might not be in peace, but there is a deeper peace in the background.
Yeah.
That's awakening. You know, that is being awake. Anything can happen. You can feel crap. You can go to the most horrible life situations, but deep inside, you feel there is a force. There is God always there, and that's the deeper peace, the deeper love.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it really is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Sure.
miracle of it is it's constant, even if we forget,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, that's it happens to me so many, or now and then, that um, I I'm doing my practice and reaching that really really deep point of recognition, and there is a thought always surfacing at that moment, like, oh yeah, it has always been here.
Yep.
Um, and then after you continue your life, and this and that happens, and then you find again a moment of stillness, and oh, it has always been here, no matter what has been moved, no matter what darkness you went through, and you return and you return and you return, and for some people it takes ages, lifetimes perhaps, to return finally again to that place of recognition, remembering, oh yeah, it has always been here, but it really has. It really is always here.
Always here, always now.
Yeah,
That's the miracle.
yeah.
And
That's the
always
one
will
and
be.
only miracle.
Would you say? Sorry.
It's the one and only miracle.
Yeah, truly. It's God realization. It's realizing that God is, that's it. God is.
God is. Yeah.
Yeah. And after that, I mean, it's like everything changes. Once you know that God's real, that's like, okay, now the fun starts. You know?
Yeah, or opposite way.
Or what? Or the
Or the
opposite?
opposite way, because a true awakening and realization of God initially might cause a lot of turbulence, and which is not always fun, but I mean, on the background,
Yeah.
like there's like a smoldering fire, there's a deep fun.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Maybe fun wasn't the best word to use. Well, I think we know what we're talking about here. Yeah, there's always that it's almost like another vantage point from the ego mind. It's God.
Mhm.
It's God looking through your eyes, seeing it all, almost like a movie.
Yeah,
And yeah, that never disappears. Once you
yeah.
touch base with that,
Mhm.
priceless. So sweet.
Exactly.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I don't know what else to say. That's what it's all about.
Mm.
And there's no other way, right? Would you? All right, so I don't know how to phrase this, but we try to find other ways in the world through our hedonism, through our many futile human pursuits, to find this peace and happiness and bliss, Satya Ananda, in things that will never provide the Satya Ananda,
Mhm.
illusions and delusions of it. But the
Yeah.
only way to that is to find the God within. The kingdom of heaven is within, truly.
Mm. Yeah, and it's the freedom of God. We can explore, we can get lost totally, and it's still God.
Yeah,
We might have
yeah,
completely forgot about the force behind, but it's still God. And at some point, we do return, like inevitably, you return. And maybe it's at the point of death for some people. If you're lucky, it's before.
mm-hmm.
Then you have the joy of experiencing embodied embodied God, the total freedom in this very body. Um, but you will return. Like there's no other way. Over and over again, we come back to the
Over and
core.
over.
We come back to God.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah, that's the tantric path, right? Is we embrace it for all that this experience is. Even the forgetting, as you said, is
Mm.
God. Even the darkness is
Yeah.
God. And the only way that you can see that there's better ways to God is to to go into the darkness, right? You know what I'm getting at here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And sometimes one might feel drawn to the darkness, and that's totally the freedom of that person. Sometimes I get the question in my retreats. It's actually a question that pops up very regularly. What should I do with people close to me that I love and that I see suffering? And they're stuck, and I see so clearly what could be the solution, but they're in the darkness and they don't see the way out. What can I possibly do? And here I believe it is, first of all, so valuable to give the freedom to this person to experience darkness.
Mm.
It really also is God, and it can be that this person needs to experience something there. He wants to experience something, needs to experience something in order to eventually see things more clearly. Yeah. So of course there is the freedom, and it doesn't take away the possibility of reaching a hand and empathically listen and yeah, giving it a try to support and to get him out of the dark. Of course, on the contrary. But for some people, the hand will never be enough, and some people just want to suffer, and that is their freedom. And sometimes there's nothing else we can do. No matter how hard it is for both sides, there's nothing we can do, and the person needs to go through that darkness, through that suffering. That's his or her freedom.
Mm.
And I think here is good to ask then also, like, how is it for yourself to be with that suffering? Because often we just don't want the person to suffer because it's hard for yourself. Yeah? It's really hard to see someone suffering and to be so close to that person. And I think the more we ground in the spiritual path, the better of a container we become, the better we can contain suffering without judging it, without wanting it to be different. And
Mm.
we can, in this way, continue presence, loving presence, like consciousness, presence, love. I'm talking about one and the same phenomenon. And true love can only be there if there is no personal agenda. If you don't
Yeah.
want the person to be different as he or she is, including the suffering sometimes.
Mm. Yeah, that's a powerful point. The aspect of freedom that is part of the miracle of God, the true
Yeah.
freedom that we have to suffer if we want. And that was also powerful. What you said is something along the lines of like, if somebody who is suffering, they want to suffer, right? It may sound weird to say, but in some sort of way, the perpetual suffering is all done by us, all through our freedom, all on our own accord. So that's the good news, and the bad news is that the good news is that it's all up to the person in their own accord to uh, to go through the suffering and hopefully learn the lessons to not suffer anymore. But the bad news is that you can only go so far to help somebody. So it's a double-edged sword in that regard. It's like no one can give you the freedom, the liberation, but no one can take it away from you either.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's the double-edged sword of freedom right there. Mm. And sovereignty. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think ultimately, though, it's better news than bad news. The fact that it's all up to us, per se, because that means no matter what happens, no matter if there is a totalitarian regime, that is imposing their will, which has happened many times, many times in history. No matter
mm,
what, no matter what they do to you or your body per se, they can't take away God. They can't take away the God realization that you have, no matter what, no matter what the circumstances are.
right.
You have that within, and you can always reach that no matter what.
Hmm.
So I think it's actually the good news.
Yeah,
Might be bad news to the ego, but it's good news to the absolute.
yeah. That's our freedom.
Yeah,
That's the one and only freedom. Yeah.
it's it. Yeah, is realizing that it's all perfect in that regard. That it's all perfectly God. It's all perfectly God in drag, and
Hmm.
no one can take that realization away from you. That's true power too. That's power beyond the colloquial sense of power, of being able to dictate the will of others. It's true power that we can tap
Exactly.
into.
Yes.
Hallelujah. And that power transcends our life too, right? So think about this. This power was endowed within sages like Jesus, who willingly gave his life. Socrates did the same thing, sacrificed. And many other sages of the past that became martyrs because they knew that that power of God, of the Creator, was something that transcended their body,
Mm.
transcended all of it. The truth that they hold within goes way deeper than this one life. It's some sort of thread that is way deeper than the body, than the ego, right? Jesus was like, hey, just whatever. You can do whatever. Nail me up on the cross. I don't care. I'm not going to stop preaching what I'm preaching. I'm not going to stop saying what
Mm.
I'm saying.
Mm.
And that's true power, right? To know
Yeah.
that it can't be taken away from you no matter what happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
That's the deep power of love, acceptance,
That's it.
truth.
Mm-hmm.
If you're carrying the sword of truth, you don't need any other swords unless you're asked for it by the sword of truth.
Yeah. I like that. The sword of truth. Mm. It's a sword of love.
Hmm.
That's what Jesus said again, right? He came to bring a sword. That's what
Yeah.
he meant.
Yeah.
That's good.
Maybe. And love sometimes is like a sword also, right? It's not just nail me on the cross. Maybe sometimes it is, and then other times it's like get up and fight. I don't know in what
Yeah.
situation, but yeah, if you look or you hear about the Bhagavad Gita,
Yeah.
that is literally get up and fight. The Arjuna, the warrior who is in the chariot, needing to to be confronted with his family members in war, and he says, "No, I don't want to fight my family members. I want to go out. I don't. Um, I think things are more important." And then suddenly the charioteer turns his face to Arjuna and says, "Hey, I'm Krishna. I'm God. Let me teach you. Let me tell you. Get up and fight." He
Mm.
says, "Fight for truth. Fight um, for true love. Even you have to kill. That's an extreme situation, but even if you have to kill your your own family members for that, they did horrible things, and you need to be in your truth. Of course, it's another historical framework, and I don't think we will ever. I hope we will never be in a situation like that. But the underlying message of the Bhagavad Gita is here. Um, like there is only one thing that matters, and that is follow truth, follow light, follow love, and um, yeah, follow that. No matter where it brings you. If you need to fight, you need to fight, as
Mm.
Arjuna need to do.
I feel that. It's the warrior spirit,
Yeah.
right? It's like a crusade.
Hmm.
Yeah, I feel endowed with the warrior spirit. And that's really how I see Jesus. He was a warrior. Even though he sacrificed himself, I do believe part of that warrior spirit that we get endowed with is a sort of sacrifice in one way or the other. I don't think it's like a necessarily like a literal crucifixion. I think metaphorically, though, we crucify part of ourself to fight the war, like Arjuna did. He crucified who he thought he was or how he thought he should be. He crucified his idea and his biases to fight for love. So I think
Yeah.
that's a point to kind of riff off of, is that we sacrifice and we fight for something greater than ourselves, you know?
Right. Yeah, it's a beautiful way to saying it, crucifying his own ego.
Yeah, that's the gist of it. Whew. Yeah, man, I feel it. And that's the thing. All of these stories, whether it's Jesus, whether it is the Bhagavad Gita, whether it is the story of Buddha, all of these stories are meant to bring into us and find the story within, to sing the song within, the Bhagavad Gita within. And yes, then we become part of the song in some sort of way. That's the thing. So you link up with the song, you hear it first, and then you tune yourself to the song, and then you play along. And
Right.
then, like I said, that's when the fun starts.
Exactly. And then you sing along.
Exactly. And you sing just to sing. That's the thing. It's like, it's just singing for singing, right?
Yeah.
It's like an improv.
Yeah. Right.
Amen. But hey, man, I think that's a good note to wrap this up at. This was a
Yeah.
wonderful conversation.
Yeah, it was lovely to speak with you, man. Really.
For sure. I thank you for coming on here and singing along with me.
Yeah. Yes. And thank you for bringing so many people together and for uh, yeah, creating love through basically allowing love to surface through the work you're doing here with the podcast. Is beautiful. Thanks a lot.
For sure. Well, I bow to you. It's only possible because people like you say yes and want to join
Mm.
me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you very much, man. But I want to ask you, do you have anything else you want to say? Anything you want to leave us on before we wrap it up?
No, it's fine. I think
Awesome.
it's good. We concluded nicely. So
Yeah,
let's sing along. Let's continue this song.
let's continue the song. Keep on singing, everybody.
Yes, yes.
Beautiful. Well, Surya, I thank you again. Eternal gratitude. I wish you all the best, brother, and keep up the good work.
All the best to you too, man. Ciao, ciao.
Peace and love, everybody. Goodbye.